Welcome, welcome everyone. We have the first ever interview of the series that we are going to be offering on this channel, Expanded Perception. And I'm very, very happy to introduce to you a very special person and someone near and dear to my heart personally, Mr. Toni Ghazi. He is a channel, and I'm actually going to let him explain what he does. Without further ado, Toni Ghazi. Welcome,
Hi,
welcome.
thank you, Maryam. I love you, honey. Thank you so much for this. I am honored that I'm the first one here. And now I feel like I should have put my normal garb on. So when people go to my website, they see like the normal garb, and it really would have been a great impact to have. So we'll see. We may recreate this again. Who knows? But thank you for having me here. And of course, thank you for your audience for being here. Know that this is a co-creation between all of us, that whoever is attracted to this, to these conversations, to these episodes, to Maryam's show, is all happening on a higher level. Nothing is by coincidence. So I open my heart to you, and here we are.
Yes. So Toni, please tell us, give us a little background on how you came to be a channel, and tell us about the collective that you communicate with and all of that good stuff.
Yes. So I became a channel, I would say about 2 years ago. I really began channeling, but like the awakening began about 4 years ago, when COVID happened. The best way that I can describe it is that my consciousness just expanded overnight, and I began like watching these shows. And I don't watch TV like a lot. I'm not one of those people that is always looking up, oh, like this movie's coming up, I can't wait to see it, right? I just go with the flow. And I'm super busy at work. So I'm a realtor, and I sell real estate. So I really don't have time to watch TV, and it's okay. But like when COVID came and like the whole world shut down for about 2 or 3 months, all of a sudden I really found myself on Gaia, like the channel on Amazon. And there's one specific show that somehow came up. And look, you have to remember, I don't know what channeling was. I don't know what spirituality is. I don't know what the word consciousness was. I was so confused about the word consciousness for years. Like, what does it mean? It's not tangible enough. So I was very asleep. But all of a sudden, the show that's called Interview with Extra Dimensionals with Ruben Langdon began popping up out of nowhere. And it's not like Amazon says, oh, here's a suggested thing. I don't think it does. Anyhow, I became obsessed with that show. He had 2, I think, seasons, maybe 8 episodes each, or like not episodes each. All of it was about channeling. All these channels that have been channeling for the past 20 or 30 years. And I'm listening to it, understanding the English is always like, I'm understanding the words, but really not understanding the context of spirituality, how it all gets like put together. It was very confusing, and as confusing and complex and weird and odd and out there, it really sounded. And then you add UFOs and you add parallel realities. I don't know what else. As strange as it sounded to me, I was not like hitting like stop and like watching something else. I was immersed in it like this, like literally like with my jaw open, just like with wonderment on what I'm hearing, but not really understanding what was happening. A year later, what I realized is that like during those like 2 months where I watched this show religiously, each episode like 2 or 3 times. And the reason I was watching it like 2 or 3 times is I'm trying to understand what was being said from the context of spirituality. But I was new to it, so it was hard in like 2 or 3 months to understand the whole puzzle quickly. But then in like retrospect, about like 1 year later, I could see that show and all these information that were in my sphere now begin in a sense coming together as like the clear puzzle. And like little by little, I began to understand what consciousness is, like parallel realities, what like channeling is, what trance means, and all these things, and like mediumship, and I don't know what else. And the whole world kind of expanded. And then I had a cat with my first boyfriend for 20 years, although like the cat lived with him, that passed away. And my boyfriend or my ex-boyfriend reached out to me and asked me if I know anybody that like speaks to the dead or to animals. So I go on Google because like at that point I was a bit aware of like channeling and like animal communication, and I like simply Google, and I found 2 or 3 people that are great, but they have a year like wait list. I'm like we're not gonna wait a year like for him to get some comfort. And I find Stephanie Light. Through that, like we have one channel where she talks to Koba, the cat, and then Larry, like my ex, gets the comfort level. And then she mentions that I teach channeling. Like, how crazy. I didn't even know she taught channeling. So then I subscribed like to her class. It was 6 weeks where like you would meet like for 2 hours once a week. And like the class had about 6 people like from all over the world. All of this was on Zoom. And after like class number 2, I just knew. There's like this knowingness that you begin to understand. Like no words are needed, no feelings are needed. You just know you are this. You know you are that. And I knew that I was a channel, and I just like jumped off the ship into the deep end, basically. And I just dived into the world of channeling. And I had my friend Nicolette and then Mike Shower, Nicolette Morgan and Mike Shower, where we kind of practiced together maybe like 6 months after for about 4 month period every night, every Tuesday night from 8 p.m. to midnight. And then like sometimes at like 1 a.m. where we just like sit there and play and just like channel and like talk to aliens and imagine things and create and just for fun with no expectation. But like during those exercises that we would do, you begin really to get to know like your consciousness and begin to see the contrast. When I go in the channeling state and like when I come out of it, I'm like, oh my God, I was out of my body. Like there's a clear like delineation that I was here one moment, now I wasn't here. So and that kind of gave me the confidence and the reassurance and confirmation that this is like what I'm meant to do.
So
And
can
then,
I ask a question? So
please,
did
yes.
you have before, sorry to interrupt, but before you got fully into that, did you have like a meditation practice, or did you have any kind of introduction into this world of, let's say, spirituality or anything like that? Or you just sort of jumped in after you found Stephanie Light?
You know what? Thank you for saying that, because all throughout my life, I used to go to the gym all the time, right? And I was like a gym buff, blah, blah, blah. And as you go like to gym, everybody talks about health and about wellness, and like meditation and like yoga and all these things was huge in that environment. But I never vibrated well with meditation. Not that I cannot do it and I don't do it, but it wasn't a thing that I like hungered for, and it didn't speak to me. And like now I know like through the channeling sessions that I get into a meditative state like very naturally.
Okay.
But I don't need the idea or like the permission slip to meditate in order like to connect. It's like somehow like within my consciousness I already had the switch on that I don't need this and that to get me here. You know?
Oh, that's great. That's great to actually clarify that, because I think a lot of people, and I am included in that category, who have been sort of led to believe that meditation kind of through practice kind of puts you in that sort of a state of mind.
And I'm so happy you mentioned that, because when I kind of realized that I don't need meditation, and of course I doubted myself because I see other people meditating for an hour or 8 hours or like 6 minutes. Oh, I'm like, but I never like felt the need to do it. When I would meditate, I would literally meditate for 2 or 3 minutes, but I would go like so deep that I feel like this is all I needed. I don't need 30 minutes, because the truth of it is, the moment you are in that state of meditation, you're in it. So you're in like consciousness, and you are consciousness. So like you don't need the time like to make you believe, oh, I actually I did 30 minutes, so I'm at this level of like consciousness. Oh, I did like 3 hours today. I'm at a higher level. Those to me are limitations. Now, if you are drawn to meditation and like you love it, then please go for it, right? That's your frequency and vibration. But to me, like that wasn't like a thing. But I struggled with it like for a bit, because everybody talks about meditation and oh my God, I did this, and I'm going like why can't I do it, right? But then I realized like through like the channeling and through the channeling like journey, that my path was quite accelerated, that I don't, and it's through our belief systems,
Yeah.
because we create those limitations without realizing we are creating
We
them.
kind of get the
Because
ego involved a bit, don't we?
like totally, totally. Because listen, if you define to yourself, right, through like media, through like reading an article, through watching like TV, that hey, you know, I just watched this person and like they said I should like meditate for 10 minutes every day for the next week and I reach this ascension level. If you really believe like what you just heard, not that there's anything wrong with believing it, but if you do and you're not able to be in that state of meditation because you imposed on yourself that limitation. I need to do it like for 10 minutes and quiet my mind. That's another thing that we have to talk about. Quiet my mind to where it's completely silent. Then you're really like setting your self up for failure, because truly the mind is not designed to be quiet.
Right. Don't we know it?
It's not. You have to honor the mind. The mind is a very limited, dense version of consciousness, and it's meant to always think and analyze, etc., etc. Real meditation, when you are in it, you're able to be the mind that is very chattery, but at the same time you can be in silence. So both can be at the same time, and you have, and I'm having chills all over my body because I want to show you. This is confirmation
You're
for the
getting
audience.
confirmation. Yeah.
Like totally, that when you expand your consciousness, oh my God, now I'm like a chicken.
I could see it.
You know, because like true consciousness and expansion of consciousness is that you're all of it at once. And when you begin being in the mind that's like very chattery, and at the same time having the same awareness, I am in complete silence, that's when you reached the idea of ascension, right? Because you're all of it at once, but we're not taught we're all of it. We're taught we're one person. I'm a male, I'm a female, I'm an architect, I'm a doctor, I work as a whatever, all these labels. And we restrict our world to that one label when our world really is the infinite.
That's very
And
true.
when exactly. So I say, if your heart, to your audience, if you don't gravitate like with an idea that seems to be popular, trust your discernment. Trust your instinct. You are not meant to use that modality. You perhaps are meant to create a new modality, like for you, for the others to emulate, right? And as I speak, I am stuttering. So, like to your audience, I have always stuttered, and like when I was a child, I stuttered worse, like very bad. Like to where I was anxious every single day, like going to school for 20 years. I loved learning, but I hate going to school because I would always get called on. Of course, the person that stutters has to be called on, and I couldn't speak. And I would go, and I would get like tunnel visions, and I would sweat. And for years, like imagine 20 years every single day. And like we go to school like a year quite often, right? Or every 8 months or 9 months, anxiety filled. But when I began channeling, what gave me confirmation, because I know I stutter every single day and I still do. And I use the word and then I use the word like to help me transition. You know, so like you're gonna hear a lot of ums and you're gonna hear a lot of like, and now it's your clue that I am kind of stuttering, although I may not sound like I am stuttering. But when I began like channeling, my speech was perfect. I've always felt a prisoner of my throat in a speech. Never felt freedom until I began channeling. And that was my confirmation that I don't care what the world thinks. I know that my state of being has completely shifted, because for me not to stutter all of a sudden after 44 freaking years, no way on earth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how much proof do I need? So that gave me the confidence that there is something happening here beyond my explanation and beyond my comprehension that's really aligned, right? And different. So
that's
and
amazing.
like you'll see me like when I channel, like my speech will change and it's very flowy.
Right.
And I don't use the word like, I don't use the word and
yeah, which actually is a great segue into what I was going to ask. To tell us a little bit about your sort of expansion into connecting with this particular. Just tell us about the collective that you channel, and then if you are agreeable, we can sort of ask to have you give us a message from your collective. But tell us first about how it all began
Of course.
with this
So
particular.
yeah, so when I began watching the interview with extra dimension or of extra dimensionals, there was one channel that connected like with a praying mantis,
Mhm.
and they kind of seeped into my vibration, but I never like was like, wow, it's a praying mantis, and oh my god, I want to learn all about them. It wasn't like that. It was there because there were many channelers that have connected to many beings. My first past life regression ever. And through that, the first image that came through is the face of a praying mantis. When I saw the face, and look, when your consciousness expands, you begin understanding, experiencing, feeling, being with things from a very different way, the way we see and think, the way we think. There was like a knowingness that, oh my God, I am a praying mantis. I lived as a praying mantis. These are my people. This is my family. There was just like this instantaneous,
Sort of
no doubt.
homecoming kind of a thing, like a homecoming.
Exactly. And then the next image that came through is this long bodied silhouette, like, I don't know, 20, 30 feet high, that like
Whoa.
look humanoid, all like made of light, but also like within it, there was that knowingness of the vibration and frequency of the praying mantis beings. And they said kind of like without saying anything, because it was kind of telepathic, is that we are coming like to your mind as the silhouette of a human that's like super tall, that's all made of light, because your mind is not able to comprehend our true energy, because they're so expanded, and our minds aren't able, my mind specifically isn't able to see beyond, hasn't experienced like the beyond yet, to be able to decipher what it's looking at. And we don't look like silhouettes. We are made of light, and we're kind of infinite everywhere, but there is within it the knowingness and like the tie to the praying mantis. And then the third image that they like brought back with a specific message that I have on my website. When you go on my website, on the first page, there's a small video like for about a minute and a half that I had to create, because that's the image that they like showed me. They showed me this heart. I was inside of a heart. And in the heart, it becomes infinite layers. And I'm speaking like it keeps on going and going and going. And I could feel the idea of what infinity like means. And like within that infiniteness and all these layers, everything was faceted, almost like a crystal. But
Mhm.
the clarity of that crystal, clear beyond what our mind thinks clear is. I don't know how else to describe it. It was like
Right.
clear beyond clear beyond clear. Like if you think you know what clear is, you don't even, this is like 20, 100 times, a million times clearer. But it was all faceted. And within that vast like infiniteness of all these facets that is the heart, there's a drop, like a grain of sand that was made of light. And I had the knowingness that all of us are so powerful that our light doesn't need to be this massive like boulder, right? All you
Mhm.
need is this small
Tiny.
trickle of it, because it's so powerful. And that little light like emanated like through the one facet, like to the next, to the next, to the next, to the infiniteness, and created a merkaba of light, or a vehicle of light. And that like knowingness that I am light and I am heart really like solidified like the connection of, and I'm getting chills again,
I'm
of the
getting
connection,
chills at this point. Yes. Oh my goodness.
the connection of like, this is who I am, this is who, oh my goodness, like this is who we are, like it's really shaking it out, this is like
Wow.
who we are. And and like nobody could like veer me away from who I am. And then the Antares actually came through through another friend, Debbie Solaris, who's a worldwide like famous Akashic galactic reader. And like through her, she confirmed that like my first emanation, I guess, as um or 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 like my first like split off like from source was like through the Antares Stargate. And I
Mhm.
was one of the gatekeepers of that Stargate, and those beings are specifically connected to praying mantises.
Oh, so they're
Between
not the same. They're just connected to the praying mantises.
So look, you have to think of it from the aspect of they are infinite.
Right,
So
right.
so it's easy like for our minds to label they are just that. They're everything really. But the focus in this life, like for me, is like the idea of that facet of the praying mantis, of their infiniteness.
Okay.
Um, so that's why I began calling myself the Antarian heart, because the Antarian like comes from the Antares, like stars, not star system, but like the planet or the Stargate, and then the heart is the heart that they like like gave me that vision with all the facets and like the Merkaba of light. And ever since I owned that like version of me, I've lived in Washington D.C. for God since 1995. So I'm Lebanese originally. I was born in Lebanon and I moved like to the U.S. like to Washington when I was 15. Ever since I was 15, 44 years, never in my life have I seen one praying mantis, like not one. In whatever, 20, 30, 40 years, however, like 15 minus 44.
Right. They're not that many around here at all. Yeah.
No, it's not. And I just
Right. They're not a thing.
But the moment that I connected like with them and I really like took ownership, and I'm going to show you on my phone like a few photos for your audience, all of a sudden praying mantises began appearing. Like in the weirdest places. So I'm a realtor, right? When we go show houses, I'm like, we have lock boxes. So like we have these boxes that have a key in there, and like you put a code in to open it. And I'm gonna show you this photo. A praying mantis was literally where I slide
Whoa.
the card. You see this?
Yeah, like hello.
And I've shown 1,000 houses. I've used these lock boxes a million times. Not one time has there been a praying mantis anywhere, let alone on where I slide the card. Like, look, you slide the card right there.
Yeah, it's like right there. Oh my gosh.
And then I was showing like another house, and this praying mantis was sorry,
Oh my goodness, on the window.
on the window. And I'm talking to him.
Oh my Lord.
And like, you have to understand the timing of these is also very like particular, because like when we show houses, like we make an appointment and it's random, right? It just depends when my clients have time.
Yeah,
Hey, like I want to see the house today at like 1 p.m. or 6 p.m. or whatever, and we just make an appointment and go. It's
yeah.
fine. And I was in Washington D.C. I'm like showing this condo on the 12th floor. It was like the largest building. I'm sorry, the tallest building in Washington D.C., which is only 12th floor, because you cannot go like beyond,
Uh-huh.
not build like beyond the monument.
Yeah.
On the screen of the window, in the air, there's not a plant for any insect to eat anything. There was a praying mantis on the screen on the 12th floor.
That's when you just know this is a message. I mean, it's a visitation.
Completely. And then to take it beyond the actual like mantises, they like began coming through light, and now I'm getting chills again. They began using light, like the sunlight, to show themselves through crazy ways. This is a light reflection on a lamp.
Oh
That's
my
a lamp.
God. Oh, this is unmistakable. This is just
On, and there's nothing
crazy.
in there. Like the light bulb like isn't there, but it's just like the mechanism of like where you screw
Yeah,
in.
that's totally a mantis head. Oh my gosh.
The timing of the sunlight to come through, like for me to see it with my client as we're talking about selling her house, and I go, "There's a praying mantis," and like she thinks there's an actual praying mantis on like the leaf, because because if you see like
Yeah,
behind the screen, she's looking. I'm like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm like, look on the lamp, and she like her mind is not comprehending. It's a light reflection.
Right,
She's
right,
looking
right,
for
right,
mantis,
right. Yeah.
crazy stuff like that, and then there's no
That
way
is
on earth.
that's amazing. I've been fortunate enough to have been witness to this blossoming, your blossoming, and it gives me a thrill. However, you know how freaked out I was the first time we saw the praying mantis, and I tend to be like just very visceral. I have a visceral reaction to bugs that are just about that big.
Yes.
However, I have to say that ever since all of this, um, not that I've seen that many ever since, but I'm a little calmer even when I like think about them. And um, I'm not going to judge it. I'm just going to say in my meditation, they've shown up a couple of times, just like Hello.
Yeah.
So,
They're getting you like used to their vibration, right? Because
yeah.
they like sense there may be fear or hesitation, so they're kind of infusing their vibration little by little. The next time like you see them, it's gonna be less because you're acclimating to their energy. But also like you and I, when we went with our friends, I think it was Wolf Trap, like we did the contact, we left like Wolf Trap, we're heading to the car, and Miriam freaks out and screams. Ah, and I'm like, what? It like, I mean, I thought there was a wolf there or some crazy thing. There was a praying mantis on the hood of the car that we
This
were
big, for God's sakes. It was like right on my side of things.
like crazy stuff. Like again, like the timing of them like showing up when we are together
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at night, and how did you really like see like something on the car, right? Because they blend in very well, like they're
Yeah,
camouflage.
of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
So, but so, anyways, it's
So there was one that was on I told you my door to
screen
my
time.
house, and I mean the brave me I just stood there and I stared and thinking, how in the world am I going to go into my house? Because I don't like hurting them. I mean, they're sweet creatures. I just feel very intimidated by their size, and so I like kind of shushed it away a little bit. And then 2 days later, it showed up again. I'm convinced it's the same one. And I had to look it up, like, oh, good luck signs and whatever, all kinds of positive. And I'm thinking, I just shushed away good luck. But then it was very interesting because my area doesn't have any. I had never, ever, ever, ever seen any, and I have not since seen
Yeah.
any. So, apologies to the mantis beings. I try not to freak out the next time.
But listen, they're not meant to come all the time, right? They come at
Right.
specific timelines where you need that reacquaintance, or like you need that download, right? To help you. And look, they show up to let you know we are communicating to you through the insect, but there's energies and there's all these beings that are attempting, right? So it's a much higher energy than like the insect itself, right?
Right, right.
The
So
insect is
next
just a
time
represent.
I will know it as a sign because now I've had the introduction. Because when they showed up at my door, I didn't know about their collective at all. I didn't know anything about them. So um, now that I know, I hopefully won't be so visceral and reactive as I was. So that way I will get a chance to at least
Yeah.
try to connect energetically.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask whether it would be okay for you to do like a little channeling for us
Yes.
and let me just ask a question from the collective for
Yes.
the audience.
Of course, of course. Before we do that, let me just add one more small twist for your audience because I think like they love it. So like when you awaken, your world expands, and as your world expands, you begin seeing new like realities. With me, as I began kind of awakening, as the praying mantis thing is unfolding, their spaceships begin like to come over my house, and I had 3 light ships, and I have UFOs, and so I'll show you like one video like during the cicadas where like they and I won't show you like the whole video, but I'll show you just a few. Just to show you, this is like during the day. Hold on.
Oh yeah, just daylight,
And I'm
good
gonna
old
zoom in
daytime.
just for a second. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Wow, it's like really close.
Very three.
Whoa.
It was under the clouds.
Yeah, you could
This is
totally
during.
see
This is
it.
like three. Exactly.
Oh
This
my
is at three
goodness.
forty p.m.
It
And it
just
came,
fell from your screen. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, and then like here's another one where you see like the light ship and like there's a UFO there.
Oh my God.
And let me. I mean, I have so many. So like look at this UFO here. Like
Yeah,
that.
like
Like so like this I saw, but
daytime.
this I didn't see. Like this was whizzing so fast that I needed to take screenshots as it moves from down up. Oh, and this is
And
my
then
car.
that's your
That's another thing we have to talk about. Um, yeah, I
tell
mean
us about it.
the car. So
Yeah.
okay, so like for your audience, when you declare to the universe that you are ready to step into the version of who you are, So I'm gonna just like zoom in to show you. So it says the Antarian Heart, and it says channeling extra dimensional beings, and it has my website, and it says spiritual guide, and you see the
Yep.
praying mantis in orange, you see the Bigfoot down there, and the alien. So in July of 2023, I'm a great sleeper. I sleep easily. I can get up and like use the restroom 8 times. I can go like straight back to bed. I can take cat naps and wake up, and great. I never had like trouble sleeping. When I awakened, I would get up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I can't sleep. And I'm doing mindless stuff. Like I'm on Facebook or TikTok or just doing stuff. I'm like, I'm exhausted. My body's exhausted. I just want to go back to bed. And like, in retrospect, like what I understand now is I'm meant to do like mindless stuff because there's a lot of work being done on the energy level. So it doesn't matter. Just do the mindless stuff that you want. But there's a lot of heavy work that's being like done. I get called to create a decal, which like my friends joke like, okay, Tony, this is not a decal, it's an advertisement, which I'm like, oh, I guess that is, because it's like, it's 4 lines. I get called to do a decal and put on the back of my car that, I channel and I speak to extra dimensional like beings. I'm a realtor. I never ever were called, and I will never get called, I don't think, I still haven't after all these years, to say that I can that I can help you sell real estate on the car. The fact that I drive around and have strangers in my car all the time, right? Because it's Southern House, driving in the conservative area of like Washington, D.C., that I talk to aliens. Like, how out there is that, right?
Love it. Love it.
Thank you. But I owned it. Like, I didn't care what people think. I really wanted people to read that so they can awaken. Whether I get judged, I get laughed at, this is guy crazy, whatever, it did not matter. But the moment I did that, which actually like came through spirit, right? Because like that one night I could not go back to bed, and out of the blue, I didn't know how to make decals. I don't know how I even like found a company to make a decal. It all happened. Ever since I did that, the universe heard this new version of me, and everything unfolded miraculously from there. Events that I never, again, I didn't know anything about spirituality. I had no clue about events that exist all across the US that talk about channeling, spirituality, like meditation and consciousness and quantum physics and like astrology and just all the woo-woo stuff.
Mm.
All these began appearing to me, and I would call the event people and say, hey, like, would you be willing like to have me there? I channel, and I just began channeling. Like, all these events have experts in their fields, on the Gaia channel, on Ancient Aliens, on History Channel, like people in there for 20, 30 years. And like these people, the moment that they begin talking to me and like feel the energy and hear praying mantis, like, yep, we want to have you there. Like, I'm like, you haven't even seen my website. Like, because I stepped into that version of who I am with no apology, with no care.
Total trust.
Total trust. Everything opened up, and people like were receptive to that energy. So, and I like realized then that I'm not only like a realtor, I'm not only Lebanese, I'm not only this person, that this one label, I'm everything. And I can explore into the everything whenever I want to. And I can tell the world that I'm a channeler today and I sell real estate. And I can tell them next year that I'm a coach, or I'm a, like, I can be everything. Do not limit yourself to one thing. Listen to the words. Do not limit yourself to one thing. You are everything, and you can be everything, and you can explore everything, and you can change. You can be one person today and be like somebody else like tomorrow. You are all of it. So explore all of it with no apology. And when you do that, the universe hears that you're embracing every aspect of who you are, every multidimensional being that you are, because you are. And magic happens, because then you're inviting that like version in with all the magic that's contained within that version. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So do not be afraid. And whenever you have a thought or an imagination or a feeling, I should do this, I should write a book, go do it. Don't let the fear stop you. Don't let your mind stop you. That thought, that feeling, that excitement, that passion that came even as a drop, like out of nowhere, is coming from somewhere that is huge. Allow it to open up, to show you the magic within it. You are all of it.
Wonderful.
I kind of have non-transy channeled. I felt.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So if you would Can we ask you to step into the role fully?
Yes, I will. So it will take about 20, 30 seconds. They will bring a message through for the audience, whatever, and then you can ask a question. They'll tell you when to ask a question.
Thank you.
And from the Antares Stargate, we come through in this way to co-create with you this beautiful reality of oneness, to open our hearts to your hearts. And as we use the idea of sound vibration to align your energies to be open, to align your heart to the infinite, to the vibration and frequency of the infinite, know that you are becoming us and we are becoming you in this now moment. That as we merge our energies together, you will be able to relate and remember the infiniteness of who you are. You will be able to identify with the multidimensionality of who you are. You will be able to sense and feel the many versions of you that are living in this now moment. And as you connect like this, and as you remember, as memories seep into your vibration and frequency, know that as that happens, activations within your DNA structure, your physical body, and your light body is being activated, is being turned on to allow you to sense beyond the 5 senses that you know of, that you are familiar with. That the idea of sensing things will be expanded from many different ways. And through the idea of sensation, of the expansion of such, you will be able, in a sense, to live those lives in this now moment. You will be able to have the awarenesses of the infiniteness in this now moment. And you will expand your mind to understand what awareness is, what focus is. The idea of focus from your 3-dimensional aspect of your humanity, what your society has defined as focus, is literally a one-pointed idea, let's say, a one-label idea. We would like to share with you that the idea of focus is multidimensional to begin with. That you are able to focus on this aspect of your version, and the next aspect of your version, and the next aspect of your version, and the next aspect of your version, individually and all at once. Yes, you will be able to connect with all these multidimensional versions all as one, absorbing all the information, understanding all the information, and the relevancy for each one all at once. But yet, with your free will choice, you are able to tune in only to one, to absorb one at a time, should you choose to. And that is the idea of activation and expansion that will be occurring throughout your body, throughout your light body, as you dialogue with us today in this now moment. And with that, we welcome you in our arms as we dialogue with you in this way. And you are welcome to pose a question, make a statement, or sit in silence with us, should you choose to.
Thank you so much for coming through, and thank you so much for the message. I certainly needed to hear it. I am not going to bombard you with questions. I just wanted to further ask whether you have any messages as a like a global message, especially regarding this point in time with what is happening all over the world, whether you have something to share as an insight.
Yes. Since we are speaking of the idea of expansion and awarenesses and focus, allow us to stretch your mind to another level. Within the idea of consciousness, the idea of meditation, astrology, this whole concept of woo, your society has defined, let's say, prophetic occurrences, or what is occurring right now on the planet that we need to know, what is going to happen this year within humanity, whether it is specifically for humans or for other beings in general. That idea is limited to begin with, and that idea will keep you away from the creatorship of who you are. Because you are infinite beings living within the timelessness, as time doesn't exist, within the timelessness of creation, probabilities and possibilities of the infinite exist. It is through your choice, free will choice. It is through your heart, the focus on you, where you are, that you are able to shift your vibration and frequency to be on a Mother Earth, to be on a humanity as a whole, on a collective of that vibration. Let go of the idea what is going to happen on Earth this year. Focus on the now moment within yourself. Because everything that is occurring outside of you is happening through the projector of your own hearts. You are the creator of your own reality. You are the creator of your own humanity. You are creator of the version that you choose of Mother Gaia. Anything that's on the exterior is a hologramic representation of what is happening within your heart, as your hearts are the portals of creation. Redefine the idea of prophecies or what is going to occur within our world, what's happening around the world, whether politically or personally, or any idea that your humanity has created. Let go of what's happening on the outside and go within. Begin observing you where you are, as you are shifting your own vibration and frequency to emanate what is on the exterior. And even though you may be vibrating at a different rate than the next human that is with you, that is surrounding you, you are still able to observe other realities. So even though you are observing other realities that may not match your own reality, know that you are living in your own bubble within other bubbles of realities that others choose through their free will choice. And we will segue into the idea of judgment. Your society has become experts on judging each other, on judging self. The idea of judgment segregates and separates you from you. Everyone on your planet, everything on your planet, from humans, from animals, from plant life, from water cetaceans, from rivers, from oceans, from plant life, from the stars, the moon, the rocks, the mountains, everything around you is consciousness and is part of who you are and are ascended masters. Every single one of you is an ascended master. Let go of the judgment that you see, as what you see is simply a costume that each of those ascended masters wore to allow you to have an experience of expansion. Redefine your lives as expansion. Redefine every experience on the spectrum of judgment, because creation does not judge you. Creation sees everything as expansion. When you redefine the idea of judgment as expansion, And that, what is occurring in terms of an experience, is simply a costume to allow you as an ascended master to play along with another ascended master, to reveal to the both of you the compassion and love, to expand your heart even further to another level of love that you never have experienced. You will begin to see the beautiful stage of creation that these ascended masters are creating to allow your heart to expand further and further, and to allow you to see you, humanity, and consciousness from a different lens and perspective. Open your hearts to the infinite, as all of it to begin with is you. You are all facets, pieces, shards of the same energy source. All of you are. And as you judge one piece of source, you are literally judging yourself. And as you do that, you create distance from you and that next piece. And as you create distance, you create a hole in your heart. But when you go back and redefine your life from a very loving and compassionate perspective, and bring all of those pieces that you have judged in the past with compassion, with love, giving them validity that they are part of creation, they are part of reality, they are source to begin with. As you do that, you literally integrate it back to your heart. You place that piece of the puzzle within the whole that exists in your heart. And soon enough, that heart that contained the many holes will become a wholesome heart for you to see. And you will be able to see your totality as a beautiful, infinite heart that you are. And we understand some of these concepts for you, humanity, are quite challenging to absorb, to expand. But simply allow the idea to seep into your vibration. Allow it to become part of your story. Play around with it. Test yourself as you redefine certain things, as you redefine your views along the aspect of judgment. And see the little signs that will occur that shows you a difference from how you thought before with judgment and what happened and occurred when you begin relinquishing the idea of judgment and seeing others, other choices, other experiences as ascended mastery. We guarantee you that you will see magic within that experience. And having said that, do not judge yourself for even being on the journey of judgment, because that journey itself, as you judge others, is part of creation. Creation never judges you. Creation sees you as perfect being, made of perfection. Every choice that you make is made of perfection. Every choice that you make and have made is perfect for the idea of ascension. As you are ascending from the moment that you fracturized yourself from source itself, the moment you became that first facet, part of the infinite facets, your ascension has begun. And when you begin redefining your life and everything that occurred within your life, on the spectrum of judgment, every choice that you have made, every experience that you have been through, as being perfect and part of ascension, because that is ascension, your life will unfold in magical ways, because in those moments you'll be bringing everything, all of those pieces back to you to see yourself as the beautiful painting of creation that you are. Was that clear?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Are there any more questions that we can help clarify?
No, thank you. This is it for the time being. Thank you so much for coming through and giving us this beautiful and very important message.
Yes. And know beyond the words that were uttered, that were spoken through the channel, that energy, light codes have been embedded within the field of your vibration physically and of your audience. Whoever will listen to these messages will be encoding their body with this new frequency and vibration. And as you attempt to try to understand what just occurred, to understand the context of such, do not judge yourself for not being able to see the whole picture. Allow the information to seep in and know that your higher self, your energetic body around your physical body, is doing the work in the background, let's say, to help you expand. And the pieces of the puzzle will come soon enough to allow clarity for you, to begin seeing yourself as divine and seeing humanity as divine and all other beings, other consciousnesses that exist within this reality as divine. And as you begin seeing through the lens of the divine, your world will become divine and magic. We thank you for this beautiful co-creation of oneness. We will bring the channel back momentarily as we head back to the Stargate of Antares.
Thank you.
Where we belong. With our unconditional love, bright, 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 bright white light of creation, an infinite, 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 infinite open heart. We thank you for this beautiful invite and co-creation as we have learned through you more about what Source is. We honor your journeys. You are unconditionally loved and unconditionally guided by the many within the universe. We will bring the channel back in a moment. Hi, sweetheart.
Oh my goodness. What a beautiful message. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's really beautiful.
Thank you. It's crazy. Yeah,
Very high vibration, very high energy, and
very,
I'm going to sit after this and just let myself integrate.
very, 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 very. It's beautiful. It's. I mean, I feel it. In it right now. I love keeping my eyes closed afterwards because I feel. I experience things when I'm in a state that are indescribable.
Yeah.
With our language. You know, it's like just crazy. And then the other thing for your audience to know is I don't read books. I admire people. Like I know you read a lot of books, which I admire. I really admire people that read books, and I've tried. I read one book when I was back in like community college. It was called Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka.
Of course it was. Of course, that's the one you would read.
That's the only one I read. The only book that gave me this. I could like visualize what I was reading, but after that, I could never like. I can read articles. I can do emails. I am super auditory and
Right.
and like visual. But the reason I'm sharing this with your audience and with you is when I began channeling, I know the bank of information in my mind. I know the vocabulary I use. I know the imaginations I have. I know what I can like fantasize about in terms of beyond what we see. The things that they say, no way on earth it came from my brain.
It is
Because
very,
I
very
know,
articulate.
but I know I didn't read this book that explained, I don't know, consciousness or this, however they like these are my other confirmations that, oh my God, this information is coming from a different perspective, right? And of course, like they use my vocabulary to describe. Like I know for me, I didn't read books, so no way on earth it came from my brain. So it's just beautiful. So you always have these little kind of messages, these like flags that show you, okay, well, that's very different than who you are. You know, you are channeling, or you are doing this, or you're bringing, energy through. So, and of course, now I'm back to stuttering because I'm back in this body, which I needed to honor the stuttering, honor this like physical body, and it's not a limitation. It's just, and I asked, actually, a client asked, they used me to ask them for me, like, why did I like choose to stutter? And I'm also colorblind, so I don't see like certain colors. And like they said that in this lifetime, I wasn't meant to communicate with words, that I had to stutter and take that path to allow my mouth not to move and to allow my brain not to use words and to use energy like communication. Although I didn't realize I was doing energy communication all these years, but now I see why speech was not like necessary for me, because I'm able to feel energy, speak energy, and I had to honor that journey because it probably is really like tying to this idea, of channeling. And then the fact that I don't see certain colors, no reds and greens and like some blues, allows me to see my world, because they asked that question too, allows me to see my world from a very different lens. Yeah. So anyhow,
Yeah.
just small tidbits for
Well,
your.
thank you. Thank you for that. Tell the audience where they could reach you. Of course, we will put all the links on afterwards in the description, so you will have links to click on. But for now, let the audience know how they could find you.
Yes. So you can go to my first name, last name.com, ToniGhazi.com, ToniGhazi.com. All my information is there. You also have my email. I think my cell phone is there, and all the events that I will be attending. I have many live events all over the US, in California, in Sedona, in Mount Shasta, in Denver, in New York. You'll see it under like the events page if you would like to come and like support and be there. But I also do channeling sessions 101. I do group channeling session. I've also gone into corporate coaching, spiritual coaching. That's another thing. And I have praying mantis skulls, which we can talk about next in
They are
another episode.
beautiful. Oh my goodness.
So I'm the first one.
Look at that.
I'm the first one in the world that makes praying mantis skulls, crystal skulls, that are like the regular skulls, and like nobody on earth makes them. And we'll tell you the whole story about that later. So yeah, and there's
They're all energetically charged, aren't they? They're very powerful.
All energetically charged. They give you like the permission slip, like to connect with your galactic guides. They give you like the permission slip to expand your consciousness. They'll like go through your consciousness to open it up. But if you would like me to embed like these calls with specific like light codes or healing or just whatever you need, I also can add extra specific requests, let's say, within these calls to help you achieve whatever result that you're trying to achieve.
Yes.
So all natural stones, beautifully hand carved, not
Gorgeous.
machinery made.
Yeah,
Very
beautiful. And you know that I want mine, right?
Yes, I know. Totally.
Full of light codes.
Totally.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Thank the collective. And we will see you back here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maryam. Thank you, audience.
Bye-bye.